Hello. Welcome to another live stream talks on Restream. Hope you had a nice week. How are you? So let's start for my friend here on the right, left, whatever. Harper, how are you?
I am good, Marco. How are you?
Well, I'm very good. Besides the cold weather, but it's winter. I think we should get used to it, um, and I think April will arrive really fast,
I think
and
so too.
spring will be here again. And you, Stephen, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Marco, and enjoying being here today and looking forward to talking with everybody and learning today.
Are you on water? Because I see water behind you.
That
I
that
know
is
that.
the
I think
long
that's a White House that looks like it might be water.
no, it's the long
The canal.
turn to one side. That is the longest set of locks in the world, built in the 1800s by Irish navigators, and it raises the canal through 200 odd feet, I think, so that you can actually sail uphill, which is quite amazing. It's mechanical, and it's to get from one end of the locks to another takes about 2 hours. So you've got to be ready for a long slog because you can't stop halfway up. There's nowhere to stop. You start at the bottom. You've got to go through a series of 13 locks to get to the top. There are 27 locks in total. This is just the main stretch, and this is where I do my training for walking marathons on the canal. Because normally a canal is flat, but this one's not.
Mm.
Good, perfect. And now we have our first newcomer, Jim. How are you, Jim? Can you
Well, I'm so pleased to be here. I've watched the broadcast several times. I'm just glad to be with you.
introduce yourself because you are the newcomer? You should.
Okay. I'm Jim Ziegler.
Usually,
I'm Jim
when-
Ziegler from Atlanta, Georgia, United States. I have a company called Ziegler Super Systems Incorporated, and I've known Stephen Healy many years. We've been friends, although we've never met face to face. It's a virtual thing, but we met on British Facebook. What 15 years ago, Stephen?
It is, yeah, 15. Yeah.
But 15 years ago, became fast friends, and he's my technology guru because I really am very challenged turning on my computer, but I do know how to operate the technology, and I tell people all the time, you don't know how to fix a car to drive a car. That's basically in a nutshell who I am, Mark. I'm just glad to be associated with this group. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, here in Portugal, usually the newcomers are the ones who pay the bill. So let's ask expensive whiskey. Because at the end, you're paying. And now we have the lady of the group, Chris. How are you?
Well, I am fine. It's very busy at school, and I have to see a lot of shows from Monday and Tuesday that I couldn't see because I had so much work. But this evening, I will take care of all that.
Well, perfect. You should ask to the administration of the school and to your students. Don't be so demanding because I have live streams to watch. Please
That's a very good idea.
don't bother me. I have priorities. And we have another newcomer, Nick. How are you? Can you also introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, hi Marco, hi everyone. Lovely to be here. I'm Nick Wood. I was well up until the COVID lockdown. I was quite happily running ads and marketing for people in the entertainment and the hospitality industry. So I picked the great niche there. But so we're kind of pivoting. I've been live streaming with since February, just providing a place for people to come and have a chat. And yeah, I've met Stephen, met all the guys. This is the first time on Restream, so it's very exciting.
Mhm.
Very nice to be here, guys.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. As I mentioned a couple of weeks before, I was happy because the family is growing. But in the opposite side, we have this situation because people who are commenting are now on screen. So,
That's true.
but let's keep the show going. I think it's nice to. I don't know how it is on your countries, but here in Portugal, we are almost going lockdown again. So I think it's good to talk about this situation and also how live streaming came to your lives. I know that some people here on the screen are embraced live stream a long time before this, but maybe it's to make a roundup about how your live stream usage changed or came in this particular challenging times. So let's start with the newcomer, Nick. It was the last but not the least. So let's start with you.
So yeah, let's go back round the other way. Yes, I luckily I had actually been producing a couple of live stream shows just before the shutdown. So it was something that I was getting into, but when we shut down in the UK the first time back in what was it, the 24th of March, I think. I decided, I was chatting to my wife and I said, what I'll do is I'll just hold a space open for an hour a day to allow local businesses, because I had local business clients as well, to come on, let us know if they were still trading, what they were doing. If they were, how could we still buy from them? And okay, the first few days, it was just me on my own, crickets. I'm used to being in front of the camera, but I discovered I could talk for an hour to myself quite happily. So that was really bad. And then a little business network actually saw one, and then it really took off from there. And then it evolved, and now I interview coaches and entrepreneurs and all sorts. What I haven't done particularly well, a little bit, I've gained a few ad contracts from it, but I've not really been able to monetize it. So I'm really keen to listen to what Jim has to say today, because I absolutely, from being behind the screen, now I'm in front of it, you can't get me off. So it's great. I love it.
Perfect. Let's bring Jim.
Hello, everybody. Today, I'm getting that everybody wants to hone in on how to monetize live stream. Well, first of all, I sell information. I sell in the automotive industry. I've become a national figure. I've branded myself the alpha dog. And you notice dog is spelled D-A-W-G because that's my beloved football team, Georgia Bulldogs, and not what you Europeans call football. We have actual football here.
Oh yeah.
Football play with hands. Okay.
We're not soccer. No, this is real football. Georgia Bulldogs. Anyway, I'm a national figure in my industry. I've achieved celebrity status. I sign autographs at conventions, and I have expertise to sell. So my wife and I, we've been through transitions. We've been in business 30 years, and our first transition was October 15th, 2008. I was in London that day, and I was partying down with 60 Brits that came out and met us, and we were going to buy the U.S. franchise for Academy, and I wrote a sizable check, which I didn't get a refund on, and that was the day the U.S. economy crashed. So I came back, laid off all my employees, shut down my offices, and brought the business home and transitioned. So COVID was not the first transition that we endured. And speaking to the audience today, you've got to be able to roll with the paradigm. You've got to be able to reinvent. You've got to be able to rethink. It's never going to be the way it was. And Amazon and the retailers are dying in the brick and mortar space. It's all going online. And my wife and I went into the business of producing conferences. And I think Stephen witnessed what we did there. We were having conferences with 250 attendees, 20 sponsors that paid, and 20 speakers. So we were having pretty large conferences. They were netting in the high 6 digits. And then October of last year, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I had esophageal cancer, and I nearly died 3 times this past year. No sooner did I get through the operations, and all of a sudden we have COVID. So I've been under lockdown for a year, and we had to reinvent again. And all the time I've been doing live stream videos, and I've been doing them to promote my conferences. So I was making, close to $1 million annually using live stream to promote my business. And I was interviewing the sponsors, and the sponsors were paying heavy money to be involved. So once I got past the cancer, and I am cancer-free right now, I've lost 85 pounds, life has changed. So now I had to reinvent once again. And being an advocate of live stream, I built a platform, and you could write this down. It's called alphadogondemand.com. And dog is spelled D-A-W-G.
Mm-hmm.
alphadogondemand.com. I built it on Vimeo. And I started putting training videos up for car dealers. How to sell cars, how to manage a car dealership, how to do finance, how to advertise and market, how to do online advertising. And so I put the content up, but then I started interviewing other people. And I was selling it for $500 per dealership per month to have a code to get on the platform and to see the videos, the training videos. But then I realized I had a lot of competition who were also selling training videos. So since I had a lot of competition, and I just came out of the conference business where I was charging sponsors $20,000 to sponsor an event, I went to the sponsors and said, would you sponsor the training video? And right now I have projections of $300,000 annually on this platform at $10,000 annually for the sponsors. And what that includes is I will interview them online and put it on all my social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I will distribute the video, and I've built a network of 150,000 friends and followers on all the social media that are mostly in my business. So that's the model that we're using right now. I'd love to entertain some questions from the group here about how we're doing it, how we're collecting, anything you would like to know.
Perfect. So let's see, Chris, if she has something to ask you.
Well, I have something to ask him. I am a volunteer at SOC, and that's community who produces conferences for teachers and school leaders. And it's about education and quality. But now conferences are not possible anymore, and we are searching what we could do eventually to have some funds and to be there. So how do you search for sponsors, please?
A young woman, I'm in the National Speakers Association. I am a professional speaker amongst other things that we do. And I am a CSP, which is the highest rank in the Speakers Association. Mm-hmm. A young lady came up to me after one of my speeches and said to me, Mr. Ziegler, I'm in the medical profession. And she said, you're in the automobile business. You've already established yourself as an expert and a celebrity. I'm just starting out. What do I do to monetize my expertise? Mm-hmm. And I said, well, in the medical profession, sponsors, no matter what your expertise, there are people that would sponsor you to do your videos, that you could recruit sponsors, and it's going to go online. Virtual conferences are not working. A lot of people are trying virtual conferences, but keeping the attendees on the conference is very difficult.
Yes.
It's very difficult because people don't want to do a virtual conference. So what we're experiencing is by just I'll have 25 people maybe watch my video when I interview one of my sponsors. But when I redistribute it, we'll get as many as 20,000 views at 38%. So I tell the people, look, the live stream might not have a lot of viewers, but if we distribute it across the internet, I can pump that and use a lot of SEO, especially with excuse my sniffles. It's cold here too, but yeah. And I'm still on some cancer drugs, so I have a little sniffles. But the idea that we put it on social media and I maximize the SEO, the search engine optimization, on by putting it on YouTube, and I use the right search words and the right even pay-per-clicks to push this video. So the truth of the matter is, Chris, you have expertise. And you're selling information. You have to look at it that way. I am selling information. I am selling my expertise. Somebody asked me at one of my speeches, Mr. Ziegler, you charged $20,000 for a 1-hour speech. Yes, I did. Well, I can't believe you made $20,000 an hour. No, I didn't. They paid me for the 30 years it took me to learn what to say.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you? I mean, they paid for my expertise. They paid for my knowledge. And Chris, you are selling your knowledge, and you've got to get a sponsor. And I told that young woman in the medical profession, I said, go to the trade publications. Go to where people advertise and see who is advertising in your field. And she said to me, she said, well, Pfizer. I said, no, everybody's looking for Pfizer. Everybody in medical is hitting on Pfizer, but there are some new advertisers that are looking to get some exposure. Those are the people in your field that want to reach the audience that you reach, that will pay to sponsor you.
Okay.
Does that help?
That helps. So I have to make a YouTube channel and then make some videos, interview people, most important people in education, and then search for sponsors in the magazines of education.
You got it. That's exactly.
Thank you.
Build a YouTube channel, first of all, not difficult. And be sure you get SEO, search engine channel.
Okay.
Are you on LinkedIn?
Yes, I am on LinkedIn.
Okay, build up your LinkedIn network. That's the most responsive network. Facebook is responsive, and the other thing is, I started a group on Facebook. I didn't know if I was going to tell you guys this or not, because Stephen knows. Because Stephen, I let you have a guest appearance in the platform. Would you tell people about that, please?
Certainly. I mean, as Jim said earlier, he and I have known each other for 15 years. This is a group where Jim has basically the industry leaders for the merch industry in the USA, and he brings everybody together. He does rule the roost with an iron fist, because you've got to adhere to the rules, which are there to protect everybody. But people are free to discuss any matter within the industry and to get advice. And people come in there and they want advice about, what do I do about a particular car sale? What do I do about a particular dealership? What do I do about the industry itself, the trade? Because the trade is governed by, a series of companies who, I'll let Jim talk more about that. But basically, nothing's off limits for discussion, and everybody helps each other, is very supportive. And the thing is that Jim is able to use that very secret group as a lead in to marketing everything else that he does. So in other words, whilst he's become friends with people in the group, hundreds and thousands of people in the group, he can use that to actually promote his core business. Is that fair, Jim? That's
fair. Thank you so much. A third person saying it, me saying it has no teeth. But when somebody, I was talking to Stephen. I said, Stephen, let me let you in the group. It's a secret group. We don't let people in the group outside the automobile industry, but I want you to be a guest in the group for a short amount of time and just see what we're doing. And on Facebook, you are allowed to have a secret group. You can't find it by searching for it. You can't put my group is called, and I'm going to tell you the secret, Alpha Dog Tribe. And the Alpha Dog Tribe is over 15,000 members now. They're all in the automobile industry, and they're all potential customers of mine. So every time I do a live stream, I certainly publish it in the tribe. And having some celebrity, and you know, the one thing about it is you've got to have expertise to sell. And everybody needs to take inventory of what you have to say that is valuable. You know, and a friend of mine, Roy Vaden, said, if you suck in person, you will suck online. You have to have value. And when I coach other speakers outside the automobile industry, and I have been the instructor for our speaker school for a while, you know, off and on, and I talk to other speakers. I say, well, what is your value? What is your expertise? And you have to meditate and think inside, what am I trying to get across to people that will improve their lives or improve their careers or improve the society as a whole? What do I have to offer? And so many people are streaming and they really don't know what direction they're going. They're promoting themselves. And I have a reputation for helping others. And I also have a reputation for being arrogant, egotistical. I wear too much jewelry. You know, I wear hats that say Alpha Dog, and the Alpha Dog, if you're familiar, is the lead dog on a sled team. You know, when in Canada or Alaska, when they have a sled dog, there's only one out front, eight behind. What do the other 8 have to look at? Only the lead dog has a view. What are the others looking at?
Keeping their mouth up.
So I am the lead dog. I am the Alpha Dog. I have created this brand, this persona of the Alpha Dog. And people know me as the Alpha Dog. They talk about me as the Alpha Dog. I've created a celebrity status within an industry. And I brought my wife with me. My wife and I, we go to conventions. We can't walk 10 feet across the floor without somebody doing a selfie with us. So what questions have you of me? I'd rather answer questions.
I think we can bring Harper because he's a car guy also.
I don't know. I'm sitting here taking notes, so I don't know. I don't have questions right now. But I mean, I've got the website up, and so that I can make sure that I bookmark it and stuff. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just taking notes.
Okay. Are you on the site right now, Harper?
Yes.
Okay. You notice the first thing that you see are the sponsors.
It's on the page that says on demand. That it's got in the center. It's got like a picture of a conference that you were
one of my
speaking at.
Okay, it says watch for free.
It's now for free. Okay, there you go. Preferred partners and sponsors.
Preferred partners and sponsors. Every one of those people paid $10,000 to be on that site. So you're looking at it right now, and you're seeing I did interviews with all of them. And I've also allowed them to contribute content, because every one of the sponsors are advertising agencies. They are computer companies that do customer relationship management, CRM. There are website builders there that are paying me to advertise to the car dealers. So what you're looking at there is, and then you see, if you scroll down, you'll see all the different expertises and things we're teaching. So what questions have you guys?
I've got 2 practical questions, Jim.
Yes.
First of all, why did you choose Vimeo to actually host your videos? Why not use YouTube? What are the advantages of using Vimeo?
Well, the advantage of using Vimeo is I have a webmaster that builds my websites, one guy, and we researched YouTube. We researched all of it, and I wanted to, and I have a YouTube channel as well, and the same videos are on YouTube, but they always refer people back to the Vimeo. Vimeo gives me a lot better measurement than YouTube from my viewpoint.
Yeah. And it's easier to monetize on Vimeo.
It's easier to monetize, but I'm not really monetizing on Vimeo. I didn't use their OTT. I use their website hosting, so to speak.
Okay. Yeah.
And they have a good framework, a good platform. I use Vimeo, and I did use the OTT. We just moved the platform from OTT to this platform because I announced January 1st that it was free, which really pissed off my competitors because they're all charging $2,500 a dealership per month. And all of a sudden, I said, the best training in the industry, no charge. The sponsors will pay for it. And it was revolutionary. It was absolutely revolutionary. My competitors were caught flat-footed.
Okay. And my second question, basically, I'm guilty of this, is you've got to differentiate, as you just said, you've got to differentiate being social to being business. And you've built a business group on Facebook, which is secret with 15,000 people in it. Mm-hmm. The question is, how long did that take you, and where would you start if you were starting from scratch today?
You know, I started 35 years ago. I turned 74 in 2 days. My 74th birthday is Saturday. And if I would have known I would get this old, I'd taken much better care of myself. So, but yeah, so, you know, I just beat cancer. I spit in the devil's face 3 times last year. You know, I was laying on a table in July and I heard a doctor say, "Hurry up, we're losing him." And they were talking about me. That's not something you want to hear. So I started networking. I wrote a book in 2000 called The Prosperity Equation. And it was not a bestseller. Everybody said they have a bestseller. We sold 35,000 copies of it. It was self-published, and we sold quite a few of them, but I wouldn't say it was a bestseller, but it was my book. And in the book, The Prosperity Equation, I said the most powerful people on earth are those people that influence the most other people. And I was talking to the Speakers Association at the time and telling them, influence is power. Money is simply measurement. You know, I don't need to do what I'm doing right now. I'm going to be a little ego out there. My wife and I are millionaires several times over. Enough. I can't spend the money I have in the lifetime that I probably will live. So now I'm doing it for legacy. I want to be remembered as somebody that was good, somebody that benefited my industry, somebody that helped other people. I've moved people's careers up, and I'm becoming known in that realm. The money is just me playing. You know, I stopped needing the money a long time ago. You know, and it's a measurement. It's a measurement of influence. Influence is more power than money. And I started a long time ago gathering people. And Stephen knows when I showed up on Ecademy in 2006, and Ecademy was the British predecessor to Facebook. I built a network of 60, 70,000 people on LinkedIn that quick, you know, and of course, when you start to build a network like that, you'll get the admirers, you'll get the friends, and then you get the haters. Yeah. You know, anytime you're in social media, there are haters out there just lurking to pounce on you. Yes.
Marco, do you have questions?
No, I'm just listening.
Am I helping answer your question, Marco?
Peter is raising his hand.
Hello, Peter.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, Peter.
Hello.
I'm in Facebook jail, by the way, right? Anyway, so it's funny you should be speaking about this.
You have an accent. Are you from Alabama?
No, I'm from Aberdeen, Scotland. Yeah.
That was humor.
Not from Aberdeen proving ground where the tanks were, but I was a tank soldier too. Here's the thing. It's funny you should be talking about this. I wonder where I could make money, right, with this, because we've been on it a while, Stephen and I. Now, what I had was a Facebook page that I used to do videos on, and I got 11,000 hits, and people would stop me in the street and take my picture, believe it or not, etc., etc. But I kind of burnt out with it. I didn't know what to do with it. So there's two avenues I want. I've also got a Facebook group that, because we couldn't get training on Britain, because for me to get training for half an hour, I had to travel 3 days. So I said, right, we need to get online training, and it eventually came. Now I've set up a Facebook page group just now, a page in the group, and it's actually building without me doing anything. I'm not doing anything for it just now. And I looked in the other day and it was there. Now what you've hit on, these guys wouldn't give you a dime to come on it, right? The guys that do the work, the pest controllers, they wouldn't part with the money. However, I want to really build it up to get sponsors, just like they do in a magazine. And I want to build that up now, even though they're my competitors. And on the forums, I'm finding that a lot of them just don't have a clue the simple questions that ask about, I've done this business since 1986, and I can't believe how much I know, and they don't.
Let me tell you what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
You are experiencing what I call the millennial Facebook credentials.
Yeah.
They only have Facebook credentials. They really have no real substance. I have so many people in my industry that were failures in the industry, and all of a sudden they're experts on Facebook.
Right.
They and my clients have a difficulty determining what's real and what's not real, because they look good. They look really good, but they have no substance. They're in the U.S. They're what we call a mile wide and an inch deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No depth of knowledge. I have my resume published. You have expertise. You have experience. And what I see you're saying right now, Peter, is how do I differentiate myself from the frauds?
Yeah.
Well, once again, you've got to publish content. You've got to publish content. You've got to show your expertise. You've got to do videos where it's not just about who you're interviewing, but it's also about you. Most of the people that I interview, we exchange expertise. I don't interview them as the ultimate expert. We're exchanging back and forth expertise, establishing me as an expert again, and them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Marco, last week, Marco, you had said about how to monetize. Has this helped you?
Well, I'm thinking.
Will this work in Portugal?
Well, I don't know.
Can I just talk to a point that Jim made about making videos, and this is for Peter, because Jim and I both know a gentleman called Robin Harrison, and Robin Harrison now is a marathon runner of some note, but his day-to-day business is a business called Dolly Char. Now, Dolly Char is basically a franchised operation of contract cleaners. And he wanted to get out into the market, and he wanted to establish a Dolly Char centre in every town in the UK. That was his aim. That's what he wanted to do. And the way he got known was very simple. He started to do a series of how-to videos. Mm-hmm. So, how to clean stains off a carpet. How every single thing you could think about cleaning, he did a video about it. And always the tagline was Dolly Char with a link to his website. And the website said, if you want to get involved in the industry, if you want your own franchise, speak to him. And basically by sharing his expertise in the video, so in other words, he'd talk about a topic, he would appear in the video and he'd give the answer to a problem. that had good SEO. He got found on Facebook. He got found on YouTube. He got found on Google search. And he did that simply by doing a series of videos, two a week, on different topics within his industry. And he grew Dolly Child to the situation where he could actually retire. So it can be done. And there's an example of it. I think he'd just gone from strength to strength. And it's all by sharing his expertise on video, but as Jim said earlier, also by showing himself on video. Right, that's my 2 points.
Okay. Well, I have something to ask to Jim, because it's something sometimes I think. And you, Jim, you mentioned that your courses are for free, right? Because
Yes.
Sponsors are paying it. I'm asking because one of the things I noticed by doing sharing free things is that people don't commit the same as if they were paying. Did I make myself clear? I mean, okay, it's free. Okay, I will be there. Do you have the numbers about people concluding the courses and everything? And do you see that even though they don't pay for the courses, they are committing, they are doing the classes, and they reach the end of the course?
Yes, I do. Yeah, we are getting right at 48% of people watching the complete videos, which is a lot, even for a live stream.
Absolutely, yes.
People will watch 48% of a 1 hour content. You know, you've done a lot, and I make sure that we get the best information in front of the broadcast. You know, the best information first. And you got to remember, Marco, I'm dealing with the dealer principals that own the car dealerships. I deal on the executive level. I'm not dealing on the lower levels of salespersons. I come in as if I were a manager working as a top manager. So since that was my expertise when I was in the automobile industry. So my persona is a manager. I walk in with a coat and tie, a business suit, and a baseball hat.
And then all-star shoes.
People know that I'm not exactly what everybody else is. So as the dealer principals want their people trained, and I charge $10,000 a day plus first class travel when I was visiting the car dealerships. You know, when I personally would go in for 3 and 4 days, I was charging these people $10,000 per day. Plus, I don't fly in the back of no planes. I don't know what even happens in the back of a plane. I looked in the back of a plane one time. There's people 6 seats across groveling for peanuts. You know, I'm not going to do that. Look like a prison car. So I fly in front of the plane. They pay for that. So since they're paying $30,000 to have me train their people, when they know for a fact that I'm going to come in and give them free training online, because now COVID, we're all locked in. I'm not traveling anymore. I have 5 million miles with Delta Airlines I can't even use. I'm not flying anymore. And you know, I'm a high risk person. I'm a senior citizen with a cancer history. I'm not going to go out there and be exposed to COVID. Even after I take the vaccine, I'm going to be very cautious. So the conference business is dead. I'm building a new platform, Marco. I'm building something brand new, and we built it so quickly. I just thought of this December 1st. And I've already raised $300,000. You know, so, you know, how somebody asked me earlier, how long did it take to build the network? Well, the answer is my entire life.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
I tell people, you have relationships in your life that you allow to drift into the past and evaporate. You have people that you knew 20 years ago, you don't know where they are today. You didn't keep those people. You know, like Stephen Healy. I've kept Stephen Healy. I met him 15 years ago, and I have not let him go. Gather people. Don't let them go. That's how you build your network. I have an immense, huge network because I don't let the people go. I do birthdays. I comment. I go 6 o'clock in the morning. I will go through my contacts and I will say good morning to 50 people. Now, granted, that's cut and paste. I just changed the names, but I'm keeping those people in my network. I'm keeping them in my feed. I use a thing on Facebook that very few people use. I use pokes.
Yeah.
I poke 300 people at a time. I'll just go clicking right through. And people say, well, that's stupid. No, it's not stupid because it brings them back into your feed, and Facebook doesn't discard them from your feed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it keeps them. You know, people say, well, Ziglar, how do you get such great participation? Because I keep poking people, I keep talking to people, I copy people on things, I do birthdays. You know, I'm keeping these people in my feed. And on LinkedIn, you know, I've got 25,000, 30,000 people on LinkedIn, but they're all in my industry. I have very few people outside of my industry. I love people from India. I love people from China, but they can't help me. I don't put them into my network, you know, because there's so many people that are in my network that are what I call relevant followers. Mm-hmm. People that are relevant to me. Yeah. And when I hook up with somebody who is relevant, I truthfully look through their friends and invite them to my network. Mm-hmm. I'm always network building, always. Mm-hmm. If I add a new contact, I will add a bunch of their friends as well.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Questions?
Yeah.
Oh, do you get people? I mean, how many? On you go.
Sorry. Actually, you kind of answered part of the question I was going to ask you about, and that was how you like speed up your network building. You just gave us a great example of that. But I wanted to ask you, whether you think if you were starting from scratch and you didn't have the celebrity that you had, would you, in order to get the sponsors, would you do the interviews and your own stuff, and then maybe put a little bit of ad boost behind it to generate the views? And then
I would put some ad boost behind it. I have a number of Facebook pages, not just one.
Yeah.
I've got James A. Ziglar, which is my personal. I've got Jim Ziglar, Car Guy. I've got Ziglar Super Systems, Jim Ziglar Professional Speaker. I've got a whole lot of Facebook pages. And when I put something on one Facebook page, I put it on all of them.
Right.
Cool.
I hope this is helping.
Yeah. I have another question for you then. When you're doing your bit on the group and you get your sponsors, do you go halfway through and say maybe, and just to remind you, Carstein Polish is sponsoring this show tonight, or is it just static? And do you put up a banner or something like that for your sponsor during your show, subliminally, or right in their face?
I'm right in your face. I mean, okay. I tell people I am financially involved with these people. I don't lie about that.
Okay.
I would not allow a sponsor to sponsor me that I did not believe in their product or their service, or I thought they were disreputable.
Okay.
You can't pay me enough to allow you to use my name if you don't have a good product, good service, you're not customer friendly.
Yeah.
My name means more than the money. There are people that would pay me a lot more money if they could use my name.
Yeah, understood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, to build the sponsorships, that's where I have found the money is, because it was a necessity when COVID hit, and the cancer. First of all, I was down. I couldn't do the conferences anymore. Mm-hmm. I had 9 hours of surgery with two surgeons operating twice, and then I had a chemo overdose in July that came so close to dying. So I was out of commission for a while, and I had to reinvent our business.
Yeah.
And people said, "Well, why didn't you retire?" I don't want to retire. I will die on a stage in front of a cheering audience.
Yeah.
I would just grab my heart. There goes Jim.
You know, Jim, I'm a member of the Professional Speaking Association in Britain, and you probably know some of the people in it yourself. And it was amazing. Stephen and John Upton and I have been doing the show now for about 4 or 5 years. And I was absolutely amazed when COVID came in, how much of the professional speakers handle it. They did not have a clue what to do. And it was amazing. But most of them are up to speed now. You know, Nigel
You have to reinvent yourself. You can't wait. It's not coming back. It's not going to be the way it was.
Yeah.
You have to. You can grow or you can die, but you cannot stay where you are unless you adapt.
Yes, absolutely. I believe in that.
Yeah, can I add to that point, Peter? Actually, is that I had an experience of I videoed a couple of sales guys giving a presentation in a hotel to 250 people. They were great, they were smooth, fantastic, but they didn't actually get some of their messaging across that they wanted. And I said, look, come into where I said, I'll put the green screen up, and we can just ask you specific questions. Well, the director guy who came in, who'd been so good to a whole raft of people, just him and his own, just looking at a camera, it went to bits. He struggled. It took hours. But if it was just for people, and it's a totally different skill set, I think, and that's what throws.
Well, still in all, you're still selling the expertise.
Yes.
You're still selling knowledge. You know, I grew up poor parents. I have a high school education. If you look at my business card, it says, or on LinkedIn, it says James A. Ziegler, CSP, which is Certified Speaking Professional. And then it says HSG, which means high school graduate. I put it right on my business cards. You put PhD on your business card, I'll put HSG on mine.
There's one guy put CDL, which is Cadbury's Dairy Milk Lover, CDML, Cadbury's Dairy Milk Lover. Here's the thing. Stephen Healy's got a lot of knowledge now of that, and we're setting up a little show and it's unbelievable. What a time to say to people, do you know how to work videos? What happens if your system falls down? Have you got a backup? Come and learn more about the backups that we can tell you about, and pieces of equipment that will help you with it. And that's what Steve and I are going to do as well, doing a little show doing that. Stephen, yeah?
Yeah, that's upcoming. We're going to put the word out about a system called OBS Ninja, which is free to use. And we're going out into Asia, into India and Pakistan and the Far East, where they can't afford the $25 a month to go on Be Live or StreamYard. They want to be able to broadcast for free from their mobile phones, from their desktops. And that's one of the projects for this year. I just want to say something, because Jim has been a friend for 15 years, but Jim doesn't see that he is one of the best motivational speakers around, because he's talking from experience, and the tips that he gives. After we've done this show, I always get a notepad, I'll write down things I'm going to do. As a direct result of listening.
I will hide the video. I will hide the video.
I remember it. I don't need to play the video again. So I just want to say, because I know Jim volunteered to be here, but Jim, thank you for all the gems today.
Yeah,
thank you.
Right, I'm done.
Well, I want to talk about what you mentioned about the sponsors, and the question that Peter made. Do you mention the sponsors? They are just there, and you talked about this because it's very important when you build a community and you bring sponsors to the community. For me, it's very important that the sponsors are relevant, useful, and trustable to your community. Otherwise, you're making noise and you will be losing the confidence of your community. And again, if I for instance, if I'm a gardening group and I bring a sponsor just by the sake of having money from them, but they are selling motorbikes, will they want to invest on my group? Because I don't see that you are traveling with a motorbike on a garden, hopefully. So it's how do you, because I think, and this could be for sure, that you have this inbound sponsors approach. How do you manage this, Jim? Do you just say, okay, you're not useful to my community, just go away?
Yeah, of course.
Bang.
Stephen can attest. My group online has very strict rules. You're not allowed to use curse words, and the young generation today is foul mouthed. If you use certain words on my site, we will throw you out. If you attack another person, you will be thrown out.
Mhm.
If there's only one person, and it's in the rules, there's only one person allowed to advertise to this group, and that's James Ziegler, and that is in the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the disclaimer is there, it's nothing to complain about. Is this?
But we enforce the rules. I have 5 admins that continually patrol to be sure that nobody on that site is breaking the rules, that nobody on the site is attacking somebody else using foul language, self-promoting. Only person allowed to promote themselves on this site is Jim Ziegler. And it says so right in the rules. So people know that I have sponsors. They know that I advertise the sponsors, and they know that I'm financially involved. There's no secret there.
Yeah.
It was set up that way from the very beginning.
So your advertisers, they're people within your industry that will be selling to your people only, not retail to the public, but the buyers within your industry.
There's something to automobile dealerships.
Yes, yeah.
I go to magazines and I go to other conferences and I see who is sponsoring, and I contact those sponsors and I offer them the sponsorship package. Now, the sponsorship package is $10,000 annually, and I will give them 4 interviews a year on live stream. That's part of the package. And I will distribute them throughout my social network, which is known to be vast. And that is the package. $10,000 a year. You get 4 live streams. You get to put your commercials on the platform, and I'll put the live streams on the platform. I think we saw that earlier. And that's the package. And it's pretty straightforward. I've got CRMs, I've got advertising agencies. And Nick, are you an advertising agency?
Yeah, I was pretty much just a small local advertising agency. Yeah.
Okay. Are you an online advertising agency, a media, television, print?
Yeah, I was predominantly doing Google and Facebook advertising.
Okay. Are you Google certified?
Yeah, Google certified, and more importantly, analytics certified as well. Yeah, highly trained, great results. So,
see, that's the thing. See, so many of your competitors are not Google certified, and it's a war. I mean, you're going to have to expose the frauds, and I expose the frauds all the time.
Yeah, it's one of those things, Jim. I mean, I spent thousands of pounds getting trained by or I regard as some of the best online teachers that there are, and so yeah, I was running good campaigns and had the backup. But yeah, I actually got Google certified because just to add that extra bit to my CV, because I saw people weren't, and that was, I could show them results, but it was just that little certification.
Can I say something that might offend you? Nick?
Sorry?
You need to think bigger.
No, I do.
You need to think bigger. you're thinking too small. think
Give us
bigger.
an example, Jim.
You know, and I'm not going to mention a dollar amount or amount of pounds, but think bigger.
Yeah.
You know, go for more. Nobody in this broadcast, including me, is doing the best job we can do. None of us are doing the best job we can do. You can be more, do more, have more, experience more than you now are.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have to reach higher, reach farther, do more. You're not thinking big enough. You've got this expertise, you paid for the expertise, and you're not thinking big enough.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Totally get it. That's me told.
Chris?
Well, for me, it's the same. I am in education and I have two hobbies. That is, I work as volunteer in a cat shelter, and also I like antiques and art. And now I'm thinking perhaps I must have 2 or 3 channels because there are different populations. Is that true? And must I do it in Dutch, which is my mother language, or must I do something in English to publish all those videos?
Your English is very good.
Oh no, I don't think so. I do my best, but
Oh,
it's
believe me,
step by step.
I've done business with a lot of Europeans and Asians, and your English is good. You know,
Thank you.
but yeah, you ever see the show Antique Roadshow?
Yes, I do. I have seen
Now,
it.
they took their love of antiques and got sponsors and made money with it. It's a prime example of what I'm talking about.
Yes.
When my business crashed 3 times, you know, I had a multi-million-dollar business. I had 40 employees. I had 6,000 feet of offices. And 2008, it collapsed.
Yes.
And I had to start again. And within 2 years, I was making a lot of money again. Not as much money as some people, but you know, everybody's somewhere on that ladder. You know, I'm here. Somebody, you know, I'm not the wealthiest person you ever met, but I'm comfortable. And I had to reinvent. And now COVID, cancer, I had to reinvent again.
Yes.
And I'm already making great money, which, you know, the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. You know, I mean, well, the lack of money is certainly a great evil too. You know, have I helped you guys? I hope so.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Very much for me. Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's made me focus on my new group that's growing without me doing anything at the moment. And I've got a little new duster that we use, and I'm going to give a talk about that, and just to help the industry. And I'm going to build it up, and I'm going to find out how much they charge for advertising. Once it's big enough, they can get sponsored. Great.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
even if it's not a lot of money, if I can build it up and say, "Oh, I'm just stopping for a minute. How's our sponsor?" From a sponsor. What do you think of that?
That's what you got to show value to this. This is what I will give you.
Yeah.
And I will send out my email list. I forgot about that, but I built a huge email list, and I will advertise I will send your all the videos I make on live stream. I email to my list, and that's one video at a time, and then it refers them back to the Alpha Dog on Demand platform, and everything is centering around Alpha Dog on Demand. And the only reason I really have that YouTube channel is because it helps me to put things on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it's much easier to put a link from YouTube onto LinkedIn. Much easier than downloading embed code.
Ah, right. Okay. See, little things like that help. all things like that. You know, it's jail shortly. Do you know what breakout deals?
Well, yeah.
So-
When did I ever think I was going to be 74 years old teaching internet to young people?
There you go.
Yes.
You know, most millennials live in mom's basement playing Xbox on the couch.
Yeah.
You know, we this collective group. I'm looking at your faces. You know, there's so much expertise in this group, and like me, we all have to reinvent. It's a new time, but there's new opportunities for us.
Yeah.
Harper, you've been kind of quiet. What are you thinking over there in Arizona?
Oh, I'm just like I said, taking notes, brainstorming, and most of my expertise is I'm law enforcement from the military, and ended up doing a lot of trying to help a lot of people with suicide, having to talk them off the buildings and stuff like that. And then when I went, after I retired from there, I went and did civil service work as a government employee for the military, teaching suicide intervention versus, just doing classes on, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. All right, you're good. Actually teaching like a 2-day workshop, an interactive workshop on suicide intervention. So how to, when you have a friend that you suspect is contemplating actual suicide, what do you do for that person? And so that's kind of where my expertise is. But the problem with that is when I teach those workshops, it messes with my TBI, my traumatic brain injury, and my PTSD. So I would have to take like 3 days of not doing anything just to try to get my mind back into normal mode. So that's where a lot of my expertise is. And, but I don't do that anymore. So now my hobby is cars, and it's something that I've had for decades. Is I've built several cars, several engines, and so it's just kind of my page is kind of like a hobby of helping people to be able to see things around car shows and stuff like that during the winter. Those of us that live down in the southern states, that are a little bit warmer, we don't have to put a car in the garage until spring. Where for years I did that. But, with this lockdown, again, that is starting to mess with my head. So because I forced myself, not liking to deal with people, I forced myself to get out and talk to people, talk to them, go to car shows, go to races. I participate in both of those as well. And then we all got locked down, and everything's closed, and it's like now I'm back stuck in my house, like you were saying earlier, Jim, was you need to reinvent yourself, and so that's my struggle. That's what I'm doing, is trying to figure out, trying to basically clean everything out of my head and reorganize.
Well, first of all, thank you for everything you've done, but the communication on video, you don't have to be a hermit. I mean, there is a wide world of relationships. I mean, one of my best friends is Stephen Healy. I've never looked him physically in the eye. I've never seen Stephen face to face. I mean, but we've been friends and true friends for 15 years. Mm-hmm. So
totally.
And there are sponsors for what you do. And, I was great friends with Carol Shelby, if you know who that was.
Oh, yeah.
Carol and I were because Carol was a car dealer. He owned some dealerships in California. A lot of people didn't know about. I consulted the Shelby dealership, and I got to know Carol. So I know a little bit about people that build engines and cars. The sponsorship on the suicide prevention, that's your true love. That's your true mission. and that's probably your best expertise. And with your PTSD, you got to overcome that. You got to climb through that. I understand, and it does mess with your head. But there is your greatest gift, and if monetizing it, that's where the sponsors will pay you.
Gotcha.
That's where you can pick up. And the thing about the suicide prevention, any sponsor will sponsor. A car dealership. I do business with 21,000 car dealerships. Any one of those dealerships would be glad to pay you to sponsor suicide prevention. It's not something that has anything to do with an industry. To be associated with suicide prevention and doing something good for the troops. I mean, anybody would do that. Any sponsor. I hope that helps you.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I appreciate that. I started up a page a couple months ago. I haven't even publicized. I mean, I'm setting it up for helping first responders and military deal with and get rid of that stigma of being afraid to ask for help. I'm a prime example when it comes to what happens if you ignore it for 15 years. I was in the first Gulf War, and my unit saw the most and the worst combat battle of any Marine Corps unit. And I was the only one in my unit that continued a career afterwards. And so I never told anybody all the problems, the nightmares, and all that kind of stuff that I was having for 15 years because I wasn't ready to give up my career. And once I was done in the Marines, I went and, I got out and to be closer to my daughter and stuff. And then I really missed that camaraderie. And so I promised her that I wouldn't go anywhere. So I was limited to what units I could try to rejoin. So I ended up joining the Army National Guard up in Washington State. And, at that time I'd already kind of started with the VA working on VA disability so I can get treatment for the stuff that I had. And by that time, it had been so engraved in my head. My brain was kind of rewired as here's how we operate now. There's no way for me to get rid of all the stuff in my head. I had thought about, maybe if I went to a hypnosis thing and just forget from this date, from this year to this year. But there was so much. I mean, my daughter was born, in there, and so much good things had happened during that time as well, just not at the same exact dates. But so that's kind of the,
you've got a story to tell, and you've got people that want to hear it. You can help other people and monetize while you're doing it. And I can see where you've got a huge opportunity. What do you think, Stephen?
Yes, I think perhaps after this broadcast, you'll be in contact with several of the people. Well, in fact, probably everybody who's on here today. And I love, this is what works best. When we can get together, and it doesn't matter who's watching. This is not about who's watching. This is about who's actually here and listening to each other's stories. And we've mentioned more today about ourselves than we've done in previous broadcasts. And I think that's a good step forward. We're here to help each other, and we can do that practically. Just to change the tone slightly, if you get poked tomorrow, then it's not my fault. It's Jim.
I have that in my notes too. Start poking people.
Oh,
Jim has had a big I spotted my cat in the corner, so I thought I'd better channel my inner Jim.
I've had people say to me, "You poked me." I said, "Wait a minute, I'm happily married."
What reactions have you had to the poke? Because people say, "Who are you? I forgot about you." Do you get anything like that when you poke them and you haven't spoken to them for a while? How often do you poke them?
I poke people probably, I don't, when the whim hits me, but 10 days, whenever the whim hits me. And the funny thing is, it's the people that poke back. Everybody pokes back. And then when you get on your poke, you got a whole list. You can just go right down the list. Poke, 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 poke. I mean, the Facebook serves you up everybody that poked you back.
And then it tells you how many times you've poked that person.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And then you start a conversation.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Brits that when I went over to England in 2008, October 15th, 60 people came out and had a party in my behalf for my wife and I. Some of those people traveled hundreds of miles. People came from Scotland. You know, I mean, it was amazing that so many people came out and had a party. We had a pub party. Stephen, did you make that one up?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we've got a situation where we're all networking 2005 through 2010. And when the Academy website closed down, I brought everybody over to Facebook, and we've got a group of about 350 people who've known each other for 15 years and would do anything for each other. And that's the key to all this is getting to know people. As Jim said, he's got tens of thousands of people in his Rolodex. And the point I'm going to take from today is to differentiate between social and business. And I think what we've got to try and do, or what I'm going to try and do, because I always have 2 or 3 takeaways whenever I've been live with Jim, is that I'm going to start differentiating between social and business and start my own secret group, because everything starts somewhere, and build up business connections in there. And we'll see how it goes. Right. Well, we've come to the,
Question to Jim. Jim, how can we keep in touch with you?
Well, I tell you what, I don't generally accept people that aren't in the car business on my personal page. But I would like everybody in this group to send me a friend request. James A. Ziegler, Ziegler. Send me a personal friend request on Facebook, and I'll put you in my personal network, and we can communicate. James A. Ziegler. Facebook.com/James A. Ziegler.
Okay. Thank you very much for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you know, just before you go, there's a friend of mine. I had him on my Talking Eater show, having a chat with him. Jim Reed, and he's a used car sales person. And every Saturday morning, they used to go out and they say, "How's the new cars we've got in? And how's that?" And he actually fought the Automobile Trade Association, and more people come over to him, and it was quite amazing. And he's done extraordinarily well and gets sales because he does live videos of his new cars coming in and talks about different things within the industry.
Anybody in the industry knows who I am,
right?
Even in the UK.
Right. I'll see if he knows you.
He does. He does.
Jim Reed up in Aberdeen. So there you go.
Okay, it's time to wrap up. Stephen, it's up to you, my friend.
Merci, Milfa. Thank you, Marco. This has been an amazing session. If you managed to catch it live, thank you. If you're watching on the replay, thank you. The team is growing, and we're just going to get together every Wednesday, sometimes at my house, sometimes at Marco's house, and you'll find us on Facebook and YouTube and anywhere else we can stream, and you're all welcome to join us. We still have 2 spare seats, but today, with Nick and Jim joining us, we've got quite a team. So to everybody, take care, and we'll see you all again soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Take
Take
care.
care.
Thank you.